We have a lot of ground to cover, so we're going to go quickly through the beginning. We're going to cover our progress in the last year. We've made a lot of announcements. We're going to talk about more announcements we're making this week at Next. And this year, we're splitting into 3 categories. First, security of the cloud. These are features and capabilities that make our core infrastructure secure, so the platform upon which G Suite, GCP, and our other services rely. Next, we're making a bunch of announcements for security in the cloud. So these are the features and capabilities that you get to use as a customer to build secure applications and businesses on our platform. And finally, we have a new category of announcements called security services. And security services give you the ability to consume the best of Google, whether or not you're running your business, your application, or your services on Google Cloud. So you can consume these wherever you are. And finally, I want to make some updates about our partner and our ecosystem environment, which has significantly grown again this year. So without further ado, let's get started. Our mission here is to build the most trusted cloud. And the way we think about it is we think about reducing the unverifiable trust surface. So if you're an attacker, you want the attack surface to be as wide as it can possibly be, the most places you can attack vulnerabilities. And if you're a defender, you want the attack surface to be as small as it can possibly be. We took this same approach to try to build trust with you, our customers. So we talk about reducing the unverifiable trust surface, reducing the number of things that you have to implicitly trust about the things we say. And the way we reduce that trust surface is providing you transparency. We pull the curtain back about what we do and how we operate our business. So the way we do this is we first establish a secure, verifiable foundation, and I'll go through what that means in a minute. We deliver, we believe, unparalleled visibility and transparency into how we operate our platform. We verify what we say through trusted third parties. So we have auditors come in and shake the proverbial tree of Google Cloud security to validate what we're doing. Then, as you take over as part of the shared responsibility model where you need to implement controls, we do everything we can to hear you and make those controls as simple as they can be so that you can provide your verifications to your stakeholders. And then finally, we keep investing. So we keep a keen eye on the threat landscape, and we continue to make deep investments in our security so that you can trust we're doing the right things going forward with you. So let's talk about our verifiable secure foundation. Our hardware is purpose-built and designed by Google spec. It's custom-made. Underlying it is our Titan chip, which verifies the integrity of our hardware and our software stack. We remove all the unnecessary hardware and software to reduce the attack surface as much as we can. All the identities, users, and services are strongly authenticated as we move up the stack. Data stored on our infrastructure is automatically encrypted at rest, and we believe we're the only cloud provider that does this. And that data is also distributed for reliability and availability as you request from us. Our communications over the internet and between our data centers are encrypted by default. And finally, our operational teams detect threats and respond to incidents 24/7, 365. We are here. You are getting the benefit of a very large security operations and infrastructure team when you run on Google Cloud. But again, all those are statements that we've made. It might sound nice. At Google, we give you the tools and data you need to be able to verify the claims that we make. Whoop, we're going forwards. 1 second. If we could go back a few slides, please. Back one more slide, please. And forward 1 slide. Great. So we provide, we believe, unparalleled visibility and transparency. And we do this in 4 ways. First, we give transparency into our operations. So we've got extensive documentation on our infrastructure. We've got white papers about our design choices for how we did encryption at rest, in transit, how we do data deletion. And we invite you to read those white papers. It gives you our philosophy on how we've designed our security, and we hope you believe in that philosophy and can choose. We believe we provide the most extensive documentation about our design choices for security. Next, we document the processes we follow for government and legal enforcement requests. We follow repeatable processes, and Google was the first cloud provider to offer a transparency report. We invite you to go check it out, transparencyreport.google.com. We give all kinds of details about how many requests we receive from various government stakeholders around the world. We report back in bulk how many we've received, how many we've pushed back upon, how many we've responded to. And we also report really great things we think are great in improving the internet, like the amount of encryption on the internet overall that we see across Google services. Third, we contractually detail and commit to how we operate on your data. So this isn't claims we're making. We are accountable for these things in contracts. So this includes things like processing restrictions, data deletion, incident notification, and the security measures we're talking about today. We are accountable in our contracts with you. And finally, we offer access transparency. We're the only cloud that provides you with a detailed account of who in Google has accessed your data, what they did and why they did it, and we have 3 announcements to talk about that I'm very excited to share with you. So our customers and regulators expect independent verification of our security, privacy, and compliance controls. And we wanted to share with you that we do this. We use an independent auditor to come in and check out our data centers and what we're doing here. And these are international security standards that many organizations rely on. We have them, and we continue to expand this list of certifications globally as you ask them from us. If there's a certification that we don't have that you need to keep your stakeholders happy, please come and talk to us, and we will pursue that certification. So in terms of transparency, we want to be really clear this year about our commitments to you and our data. If you heard Thomas's keynote earlier this morning, he made some very strong statements about how we protect the privacy of your data and our commitments to you. And I'm really excited today to share these strong commitments to you yet again. So first, you own your data, not Google. We're really excited to make this a strong commitment to you. Next, we want to make it clear that we never sell your data to third parties. There's been some fear, uncertainty, and doubt spread about Google that I wanted to really clarify and make a definitive statement on. We do not use customer data for advertising. It's your data. It's not going to be combined. It's not going to be used for advertising. Next, all your data is encrypted in transit and at rest, in transit between data centers and at rest by default. We guard against insider access to your data, so we have a really strong team at Google that works on insider threat, insider risk prevention, and that benefits you. We don't give governments backdoor access to your data. And you can check out our transparency report and some products we're about to announce. Next, our privacy practices are audited against international standards. So the teams worked really hard to be able to make these commitments, and we hope that this helps engender trust here with Google that we're making them definitively. So as a result of these efforts, we're happy to announce that many customers in 2018 came and went on record about Google's cloud security. So we're really excited that these customers have made these references, and if you're here in the room and worked with us, learned about our security over the last year, and commented on our behalf, we really appreciate it, and we invite more of you to try us out and work on security with us together. So enough from me. What I want to do is bring up a colleague, Colin Ahern, who's the Deputy Chief Security Officer of New York, who's part of New York City Cyber Command. Come on up, Colin, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great.
Awesome. So Colin, tell us about your role and what New York City Cyber Command is.
Thanks so much, Mike, and thanks for having us here today. Firstly, I'm Colin Ahern. I'm the Deputy Chief Information Security Officer of the City of New York. I help lead an organization called New York City Cyber Command. New York City Cyber Command was formed in July of 2017 by an executive order from Mayor Bill de Blasio, and we are the government agency that prevents, detects, responds, and recovers from cyber threats against city systems. And we provide tools so that our residents, visitors, and businesses can lead safer lives online.
Awesome. Thank you, Colin. How are you using Google Cloud, and how does it help your agency's mission?
Well, we use Google Cloud in a number of ways. Before I get to that, our mission, we really view our mission as twofold. One, our enterprise security mission, like I said, to ensure that the systems and services that residents, visitors, and businesses rely on are secure and reliable against attack and cyber threats, and to provide tools that those constituents and stakeholders can lead safer lives online. I want to talk about the NYC Secure Initiative. This is a world-leading policy statement that cybersecurity is a public safety issue, not just critical services and infrastructure, not just SCADA systems, but the very internet and the lives and livelihood of our citizens depend on a well-functioning internet. And the government owes you something, owes you tools so that you can lead safer digital lives. We have a couple of flagship initiatives under that policy. One is the NYC Secure app. It is an enterprise-grade mobile threat detection app which respects your privacy. It's available in both the iOS and Google Play stores. To learn more about that app and how it respects your privacy, the ways in which it can enrich your life online and help you secure your mobile device, visit nyc.gov/cyber. We are also working with Quad9, which offers free privacy-respecting recursive DNS filtering, and we're rolling that out to every free public Wi-Fi network in the city by the end of the year. Also, if you read the Wall Street Journal Thursday of last week, our agency partnered with Manhattan DA Cy Vance, the commissioner of the New York City Police Department, James O'Neill, to launch the Cyber and Critical Services and Infrastructure Initiative. And that is a locally oriented cross-sector critical services partnership, which at the local level is designed to break down barriers and ensure that our services are secure against cyber threats.
And awesome, and Colin, thank you. So tell us a little bit more specifically about how Google is a strong part for NYC, NYC3, and how you're using Google Cloud.
For sure. So for those of you that have been downstairs at the public sector booth, you might have seen our demo. New York City Cyber Command, like I said, is a government agency formed about 18 months ago. And we deal with a number of important problems in cybersecurity. One of those is a cybersecurity data problem. We have a lot of different security data in a lot of different places in a lot of different formats. And our secure responder environment is run on Google Cloud. Our security data pipeline uses Google Cloud Platform tools such as Cloud PubSub, Apache Beam, which is an open source data programming model that Google offers as a managed service in Cloud Data Flow, BigQuery, and other things, so that we can ensure that the right data gets to the right analyst or analytical process at the right time to defend against cyber threats. Additionally, we are implementing beyond Corp style architectures in our own service offerings that we provide to agencies and stakeholders throughout the government. And we are happy to partner with Google and the FIDO Alliance generally to make identities on the internet more secure, and we're actively collaborating on ways to do that.
Fantastic. Colin, thank you so much. Thank you for trusting us with your data and the work you do at New York City Cyber.
Thank you so much.
Great. So now that you've heard about our customer progress, what we're doing to enhance trust, we want to get into our products. But before we start with the announcements, we want to remind everybody that in 2018, we've made 70 new product or product enhancement announcements. So product enhancements like going from beta to GA for existing products. We've invested heavily in the last year, and the result is more tools and services that you can use to secure your business. So this week at Next, we're making 30 additional product announcements. Without further ado, let's get started. So if you remember, we're going to make announcements in 3 categories: security of the cloud, in the cloud, and security services. I'll be doing the security of the cloud announcements, and then we'll bring up Jess Leroy to tee off security in the cloud. So we have 3 big announcements in security of the cloud. First, access transparency, which we mentioned before, is now generally available for GCP and for G Suite. This means that when a Googler accesses your data, you get a near real-time log of that access, including who, when, and for what reason the access occurred. So the canonical use case here is you call up Google, hey, I've got a problem with storage bucket number 345, the data appears corrupted or some other issue. The Googler creates a ticket. The Googler goes in and accesses the data on your behalf for giving a justification, saying, hey, this is ticket number 567 that the customer called and asked us for. And in near real time, through either Stackdriver or Cloud Audit logging, you get a log of what the Googler's doing. We believe this is an unparalleled level of transparency that we provide now in GA on GCP and G Suite. So we're very excited about that. The bigger announcement is that we've enhanced this to access approvals, which we're announcing for beta for GCP. With access approvals, by default, Googlers are denied access to your data. And what this means is that in that same flow, as you make a request to Google, when the Googler attempts to access your data, they're denied, and another request is sent to you, either through an email or through an API call that you can write a script on the other end for, where you have to give an explicit thumbs up or thumbs down to that Googler's access. So now, only at Google are you getting the ability to integrate with Googler's own internal workflow that we use to administer our platform so that you're in control of when we can access. And this isn't basic support level access. This is deep access within our infrastructure. Cloud administrators using the command line have to go through this flow that includes you, the customer, to give an approval to Google. So we're really excited. This is piece of technology that's based on deep infrastructure investments that we've made over many years to bring you into the operational approval flow for Google Cloud. And we're really excited for that. So with that, those are our announcements for security of the cloud. I want to bring up Jess Leroy, who's going to make some announcements for security in the cloud. These are features and capabilities that help you with your part of the shared responsibility model. So with that, let me bring up Jess Leroy. There you go.
All right, so for security in the cloud, the very first thing that we're going to talk about is the Cloud Security Command Center. The Cloud Security Command Center will provide you with a single pane of glass that'll give you visibility across everything related to security in GCP. So we give you a full accounting of all of your resources, and then from there let you apply security analytics and threat intelligence to everything inside of your GCP environment. We're going GA here at Next. There was a very full-featured alpha, full-featured beta before this, but there are a couple of things that I wanted to mention, particularly within the context of the GA, that are new. One is that in our beta, a lot of our customers asked us for more export mechanisms into the tools that they use on-prem or in other SaaS solutions. So we've added new export mechanisms. One that customers seem to be particularly excited about is a custom Splunk exporter, which allows you to customize all of the exports out to your Splunk instance. The second thing I wanted to mention is new third-party threat intelligence. So we integrate threat intelligence from all over into the Cloud Security Command Center. A bunch of new vendors that are participating now are Tenable, McAfee, Cavern, Chef, Calvio, so a bunch of new providers that we can take threat intelligence in from. And then lastly, some new first-party integrations. So we continue to integrate more and more GCP services and solutions into the command center. That's a trend that you should expect to see continue from us. We've integrated cloud audit logging, access transparency logging, and all of the new things that you're going to hear about in the next half hour. All of those services feed up through the command center as well. One of those services that feeds up through the command center that we're launching today at Next is Security Health Analytics. So Gartner tells us that through 2022, we should expect that 95% of breaches come from customer misconfigurations. To protect our customers from those types of breaches, the Google security team has gone out and evaluated all of the major types of misconfigurations that result in these types of breaches. And what we've done is we've created scanners that will go through and find and help you mitigate those misconfigurations in your environment. These are going to be things like misconfigured firewalls, exposed credentials, public buckets that should be private. All in all, there are 32 such detections already implemented across 6 or 7 different scan types, and we'll continue to implement those as we go. So we're really excited to add these to the arsenal of protections already available on GCP. Now let me talk a little bit about policy intelligence. So you probably saw this if you watched Orz's keynote this morning. We've got a bunch of announcements on the policy intelligence front. I'm going to talk about 3 of them. Oftentimes we'll start these out within the context of identity and then expand out from identity. The first of these is IAM Recommender. So it's really, really common for our customers to overgrant permissions in identity and access management. And what that does is it lets the end user do more things, but it also means that you've opened up an attack surface that doesn't really need to be there and is, of course, a risk to your environment. So what IAM Recommender does is it uses Google machine learning to look at all of the access attempts over the course of time, and it will recommend exactly the right role that will give you the access that the end user needs without opening up additional attack surface and sort of adhering to a concept of least privilege. Access Troubleshooter is kind of the other side of the same coin. So if you've got a user who can't access something, they go to their administrator, they're attempting to gain access, the administrator then has to evaluate all of the access policies that apply to that particular user and try to figure out exactly which permission to change, which switch to flip in order to provide access. So what Troubleshooter does is Troubleshooter uses Google AI to evaluate all of the access policies that apply and find exactly the right permission that you would need to modify without, of course, over-granting permissions as well. And then lastly, validator. So we talked about security health analytics, which will allow you to find and mitigate those misconfigurations. In a similar vein, Validator is an open source solution that we are building, which will allow you to create your own custom rules which adhere to the governance and security standards of your particular firm. So you can implement your own rule sets. They tie into tooling like Terraform and other tools in order to enforce. We also have a bunch of things going GA. 4 exciting new services that are fully available now. VPC service controls. Most of you, if you're a GCP customer, you are using VPC service controls. Great feature. It allows you to create logical perimeters around your services and solutions to mitigate data exfiltration risk and other risk. So that's now fully GA. Container registry vulnerability scanning. So this will allow you to do a vuln scan on a particular container, and maybe even more importantly, not allow that container to go out into production until it's passed a vulnerability scan. The mechanism for not allowing it to go to production is binary authorization, which is also GA today. And this allows only trusted, so signed, containers that have been signed in all the right ways to go out into production. And then lastly, shielded VMs. So shielded VMs provide fully hardened VMs and protect the boot process from things like rootkits and bootkits. So with that, I will pass off to continue the in the cloud with Sam.
Thanks, Jess. To start, I'm very proud to announce the availability of context-aware access. This is available in beta for G Suite and available in general availability for web applications, which you put behind identity-aware proxy. So this is a platform capability, and what this allows you to do is to give us policy rules which you can enforce for you. So you can say, for example, Gmail should be accessible only from my corporate laptops, and we will make it so from the platform. Or to give you another example, let's say you have a bug system which you want to project out to some contractors who are in a remote, working from their own office. You can have a policy saying, let my bug system be accessed by these contractors, but only from their office and only if they have strong authentication, and the platform will make it so. It's also part of API access, VPC service controls. And we just talked about GA. We already have IP-based context in VPC service controls, but you will see more context come in. So you might be able to say, this particular very sensitive API accessed only by admins, only with strong authentication, and we'll make that so. This is really part of what you might have heard as Beyond Corp or Zero Trust. This is an approach where you basically account for the fact the world is becoming more and more perimeterless. And so this is an area we're investing in. And if you want context-aware access, if you want to know more, Airbnb spoke already or is speaking right now. And you can see what their experience was. Talking about Beyond Corp, I'm very proud to announce the Beyond Corp Alliance today. It's an alliance of companies who want to bring their context together to improve security for you, the customer. And from our perspective, I just described how you have these access control points in our platform, which allows you to specify rules by device and identity, like this person and their device should be well managed, and so on. And we have these partners who have deep knowledge about device status. And so from our perspective, we think there's a synergy where, for example, let's suppose you're using Palo Alto Networks for managing security of your laptops and mobile. So you might be able to say a policy like, my Gmail should be accessed only from corporate laptops, but only if the Palo Alto gives a thumbs up saying that the laptops is not vulnerable, and we will be able to enforce that. With that background, it's my privilege to invite Adam Geller, SVP of Product at Palo Alto Networks, to join me on the stage. Welcome, Adam. As you folks all know, Palo Alto is a leader in security and also a thought leader in the space. So Adam, I wanted to ask you, what is Palo Alto's perspective on why you joined the Beyond Corp Alliance? And in fact, if I may take this context even larger, can you situate it in the larger context of your partnership with GCP?
Sure, Sam, that'd be great. So Palo Alto Networks and Google have been working together in the security space for a number of years across a variety of different elements of the security domain, some of which were even announced earlier, like Command Center, and now with Beyond Corp and Identity Aware Access. And if I think about our partnership, if we look at the increasing complexity and sophistication of attacks and threats, it's caused Palo Alto Networks to think about how we need to deliver more and more of our security services from the cloud. So something that we made a change recently, we announced back in December, was that we were going to double down on our partnership with Google and make a strategic investment around how we deliver some of our cloud, our security services from Google Cloud Platform. Right? And it's to take advantage of things that you can only do in the cloud, like machine learning, artificial intelligence. And as an engineering owner of some of the services that we need to build and deploy into and on top of GCP, I just will give a plug to the Google team from a partnership perspective. The team has been outstanding in terms of responsiveness, quality, and really creativity as we think about how we take services that we've either been running in our own data centers, in other cloud providers, and really scale it globally on top of Google Cloud Platform. Now, as Palo Alto Networks, our mission as a company is to be your cybersecurity partner of choice and to protect our digital way of life. And even from the very early days as a company when we first started, we knew that in order to achieve that, we were going to have to make sure we could give complete visibility. Just like was described earlier, we have to be able to reduce an attack surface area down to a meaningful space for the defender. We need to be able to protect against all known threats. If it's known, you should be able to prevent it. And then fourth, you need to be able to quickly detect and prevent against unknown threats. And so as we put this mental model in place, there are 4 key areas of technology capabilities that surface that we've built out and we continue to use today. The first one is absolutely understanding all application flows down to a very granular level, including what functions are happening in those applications, like file uploads and downloads. The second part is understanding user identity and being able to map that to what would otherwise be anonymous network flows, take identity and be able to marry that to that so you can make better decisions. Third piece, very relevant to this topic, is host information. That's both protecting the host from exploits and malware, but it's also leveraging that host as a super rich source of information and intelligence about device posture, health, and overall context of that device that's attempting to make connections to applications. And then the fourth piece is actually looking at deep packet inspection and looking at content flows. So you'll be able to dig very deep, even into encrypted flows, and understand, is there malicious content in here, is there sensitive data, and how is it being moved and how is it being protected. We wrap all this together in our security operating platform, and that's how we give our customers the ability to take very context-rich policies and apply it across their security landscape. So naturally, as customers make a journey to the cloud, like you're doing with Google, we want to be able to apply those same capabilities. So in GCP, that might mean leveraging our VM series or traps to provide a context-based policy that says maybe only the developer group can access the internet to pull down content from trusted sites, and the content that's going to come down will be inspected to make sure that it doesn't have many malicious binaries in it. Might leverage our Redlock service to do full and continuous compliance monitoring and scanning of all of your Google Cloud Platform workloads. Or it would leverage our Aperture SaaS service to be able to do full DLP and content classification of data coming in and out of G Suite and making sure that sensitive data isn't accidentally exposed. And so if we sum all of this up, there's a tremendous number of similarities between our Zero Trust approach and Google's Beyond Corp approach. And that's why we were pleased to join up with Google in the Beyond Corp Alliance. So we think that if we can take all of this context-rich information that we have, we can allow our customers to leverage that in anywhere they're accessing Google Beyond Corp IAM protected assets like GCP, like Google API services as well as G Suite. And so we're looking forward to continuing the partnership. We're working through the technical details of that integration, and please stay tuned for more over the coming weeks and months as we figure it out.
Thank you so much, Adam. I think there's real synergy here. I'm really looking forward to the kind of value we can produce together. So in the end, security is based on identity. And for all of you who don't know, we have a full-fledged identity system available for you from Google Cloud. If you're using GCP, you're likely using it without knowing, or using G Suite, you might be using it without knowing it. But it's an IDP, and it's obviously benefits from our billions of logins over 15 years that we have secured. So today, it's a full-featured system, but I'm here to announce alpha of 3 additional features. We are now enabling, for relying applications which don't do standard federation, now we are introducing password vaulting, so that makes you can even federate to them now. We have an enhanced end-user self-service portal, and we are also integrating directly with your HRMS. So you, for example, we have partners with ADP, Bamboo, Namely, and Ultimate Software. And the idea here is that employee gets created in your system of record and instantly available in Cloud Identity, just what you'd expect, an integrated life cycle. And again, here I'm very proud to announce your Android phone can now be used as a security key, and this is available in beta. So stepping back, in identity, obviously it's very important to know it's the real you. Is it really Tom signed in, or is somebody fished Tom? And second factors help with that. And so you have OTPs, you have where you can say yes on your phone, push notifications, and so on. They actually improve your security very radically. However, those can still be phished by a dedicated attacker. So for example, you might go click on an email, go to a fake Google login, type your username and password, and your phone says, hey, do you want to sign into Google? And you'll say yes, because everything seems okay, but the attacker is signed in. So we want to take that one level further, and we introduced security keys, physical security keys a few years ago. There's little devices, USB and BLE. Today, we're introducing the phone itself. Any Android 7 plus phone can be a security key. The behavior will be simple. You log in name, password, and you say yes, but there's secret going on in BLE between the phone in your hand and the computer that you have, which makes it non-phishable. So even if there's somebody in the middle who got your username and password, they still can't log in as you. And with that, I'm going to ask Christian to come and give us a demo of how this thing looks.
I'm Christian. I'm a product manager. I work on security efforts here at Google. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to activate your security key built into your Android device. So this morning at 9, we announced the beta availability of a feature that turns all Android 7 Plus, so Android N and later devices, into a security key for your Google account. So last year at Next, we announced the Titan security key, Bluetooth and a USB version here, and as Sam mentioned, this gives you the best protection against phishing. And if you have data you want to protect online, especially in Google, we really recommend that you have one of these on your account, because as Sam said, it's not just another second factor, right? This is a phishing-resistant second factor. None of the other technologies available today gives you exactly like that level of protection. So anyway, with that, let me show you how easy this is, right? So what we're seeing on the screen here is a user in Gmail. I'm going to quickly do one thing here. I want to also show my phone on the screen. If we can make that work, there we go. So I'm going to just move this out of the way for now. We'll work with that later. For now, I am logged into Gmail, and I am going to go to my two-step verification settings for this particular account. I'm going to scroll down. I want to go to security here, and I'm going to go to two-step verification. This is basically where you go if you want to change any multi-factor authentication settings on a Google account. And again, this product works the same for consumer versus enterprise accounts. So if you use Google in enterprise capacity, this should also work. Let's move that out of the way quickly. So I'm going to log in. Oopsie, that's not great. Let's move that out of the way completely for the moment. There we go, go away. All right, that's cool. So we're going to log in. And what we should see is my second factor settings. And on this particular account, you'll see that I have my Titan USB key. I have my Titan Bluetooth key, and I also have my phone set up as a security key. So if I go ahead and remove this, and I'll just show you, you will see either a promotion on the account, or you can just navigate down to add security key. If you only have physical keys on your account, you can add the phone as an additional factor or an additional security key. That's the way that we recommend this work since it gives you the benefit of, in case the phone stops working, you still have the benefit of the physical key, right? Maybe you lose access to the phone, or the phone is not with you at any point in time. This technology also uses Bluetooth to establish a local connection between the laptop and the phone. That is how we get to that phishing resistance. The local connectivity is very, very important for this particular system to work. And this afternoon at 3:30, I'll talk a little bit more about the protocol. So as you've seen, I selected my Pixel 3 from a list here. I went ahead and added it to my account. So again, I'm back to where I was when I started. I've got my Bluetooth key, my USB key, and my Pixel set up on this particular account. I'm going to close out, and I'm going to open the incognito window again. And this time, let's go back and put the phone back to the right here. I don't want to make it larger. I just want to move it. There we go. All right. So at this point, let me go back here. I'm going to attempt to sign into that account. I want to go to Gmail. I want to sign in with my demo account, to which I just added the phone. Once I enter my password, there should be a local connection that kind of over Bluetooth happens between the laptop and the phone. Message appears on the phone saying, hey, I should confirm the login. We've seen this before, right? Confirming a login on a phone isn't new. What's new is the anti-phishing technology that's built into this local proximity protocol. So between the phone and my laptop, I'm sending data right now, doing an exchange, and at the end of this, I should be signed in. Just as easy as using a security key, but without the hassle of having to carry this around, just using this in your phone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christian. So I do want to emphasize that it feels just the same as saying yes on a phone, but it's fundamentally more secure. So think about your brakes on cars in the 1990s. They were safe. You needed brakes to stop a car. They worked pretty well, but you pressed hard, it would skid. Then anti-lock brakes came along. You press the brake just like before, but the car doesn't skid anymore. Think like that. So it's fundamentally more secure. And switching tracks, it's my privilege to announce that we have alpha availability for managed service for Microsoft Active Directory. So we realized that in the enterprise, Active Directory plays a very central role. And when you come to Google, we already help you. We synchronize identities to our cloud identity system, for example. But we also recognize you might want to run Active Directory on Google, for example, for Windows containers, Windows workloads, or other things which need Kerberos and so on. So now we offer you a managed service. We take care of all the security and reliability stuff. So high availability, disaster failover, backup, auto updates, firewall rules, making sure your super admin credentials are properly stored in the vault. All of that we take care of. It obviously can work with your on-prem. You can basically extend trust from your on-prem domain and so on. And so basically, it's Active Directory without the hassle. And this is, by the way, the Microsoft software. So it's 100% compatible with what you're doing. And with that, I will ask Reena Nadkarni to join me and to come over and tell us about G Suite. Reena.
Thank you, Sam. And hello, everyone. I'm Reena Nadkarni. I'm the product lead for security and analytics on G Suite. I'm going to quickly run you through some of the new announcements that we're making on the G Suite side of the house. If you were here last year, we made many big announcements like the G Suite Security Center, the investigation tool, and data regions. Today, I'm going to give you quick updates on what we're launching this year. First, advanced protection in Gmail. Advanced phishing and protection in email is really important because email still remains to be the #1 attack vector for your organization. With this product, we are bringing you the ability to place emails into a quarantine, the ability to detect anomalous attachment types, and finally, the ability to protect your large groups from inbound emails that will spoof your domain and hence make people in your domain think that the email was sent through an internal person. We also have the security sandbox feature, which sort of mimics a real user opening an attachment in a virtual environment, and that significantly reduces the risk of your email attachments. Collaboration in security. If you look at how admins address their security journeys, it is super archaic. It's almost like they're emailing attachments back and forth. With collaboration and security, we are bringing G Suite style collaboration into the admin user journey. A quick example. If I come in early in the morning, take ownership of an investigation, and then Mike comes in later, I should be able to share just the investigation with him so he can follow along and see what I am doing with this. And that is security collaboration for you. Automation. We also allow you very easily to create rules and actions to be able to automate things in the security investigation tool. I talked a little bit about data regions. Most people do not want to locate their data in a specific area because G Suite's centralized cloud architecture reduces latency and protects your data with geo-redundancy. However, some customers do want to have control over where their data is stored at rest because of regulatory purposes. And data regions allows you to do just that. This year, we're also covering additional products like forms and sites, and also adding backups into our data regions offering. We also have two new device level controls. The first one has to do with file stream. So when the data between your device and the servers, we are giving admins control over that file stream. And we're also announcing two new partners for our endpoint security partner management. And those are Lookout and Symantec. This allows you to be able to get other harmful signals that can then be fed into the security center, into context-aware access and such. So I have just told you about G Suite, where we're looking at the entire journey of the admin, from prevention to detection to remediation. We are hyper-focused on this admin security journey. And with that, I'm going to call Sam Lugani on stage to give you a demo of Admin Collab. Thank you.
Today, we're introducing new ways for security admins to collaborate. Now, G Suite excels at user collaboration, but if you look at the admin world, it's still quite archaic. We're still sending screenshots to each other. We're taking what G Suite does really well and bringing it to the admin community. Let's take a scenario. I'm the admin of this domain, Inc42, and I receive an alert that this device has been compromised. Now, from within this alert, I can directly launch an investigation and figure out that this device was compromised by an email that came in, which was tagged by us as a phishing email and had an attachment which was opened by the user. Now, from this point in, I want to make sure that no one else within the organization has received the same email. So I can pivot on this subject and look at everyone else within the organization that has seen this email. I can click on this and take bulk action to delete emails from everyone's inbox. Now, I have a colleague who is really good at stopping data exfiltration, and his name is Chad. So I can share this investigation with Chad. And ask him to take care of data exfiltration. Now I'm going to switch to Chad's persona. Chad is amazing at stopping data exfiltration and also loves wearing hats. So I'm going to wear a hat for now. Now Chad, I've sent a message to Chad that, look, I've deleted malicious emails. Can you take care of data exfiltration? Now from within the email, when Chad opens this investigation, Chad is at the exact same place I was. Chad knows that this device has been compromised. Chad also knows that I've deleted all these malicious emails from user inboxes. So at this point, Chad can pivot on all these users and look at if they've shared files externally outside the organization. And a lot of files have been shared. So now Chad can order these file permissions and limit access in a few clicks to within the organization. And it's as simple as that. We're very proud to introduce G Suite style collaboration to the security world. The betas are now available for sign-up. With that, I'd like to call Jess back on stage to talk about security services. Thank you.
So we have run over a tiny bit on time, so I'm going to speed through some stuff because there's a demo that I want to get to that we're gonna run through in a minute too. Okay, so security services, we talked about everything so far in terms of things that are available in Google Cloud, and then these are things that, of course, protect Google Cloud, but can also extend through to protect other common environments for our customers as well. It's sort of a new category for us. The first one of these is Event Threat Detection, or ETD. Really common thing that customers will do to find threats and vulnerabilities is to scan security logs. And so Google, over the course of time, has amassed some of the best threat intelligence in the industry. We use that to protect ourselves, and we're now, with ETD, starting to use that to protect you as well. So you can consolidate everything into GCP. We, of course, operate on GCP services. We also are starting to allow you to consolidate from on-prem and AWS. We normalize, throw that in a pipeline, find everything bad that we can, and from there we'll take the findings. We will allow you to manipulate that data in BigQuery for investigation. We'll allow you to export to the SEM of your choice. We will, of course, surface everything in the command center. And we also have an integration in the command center to our IRM tooling, which provides incident management. So that's in public alpha now, another Google GCP tool, which will handle the incident management through to remediation for you. Great new service. User protection services. So this set of services extends our protections from not only protecting our customers to protecting our customers' customers. For that particular set of users, the end users of our customers, there are two major threats. The first one are phishing attempts, and the second one are sort of fraud and account takeovers. So for phishing attempts, there is a SANS Institute report that tells us that 91% of successful attacks start with a successful phishing attempt. Big problem for customers. We have a safe browsing tool which scours the world and looks for malicious URLs and phishing attempts, and will add those into Chrome, a variety of other browsers, and thousands of other developer tools. So it protects about 3 billion users today from ever seeing those URLs. We're adapting those services to two enterprise-facing services, one called the Web Risk API, which detects malicious URLs on your website and in client apps. You pass us a URL before an end user sees it, and we'll tell you if we believe that that URL is phishing or malicious. The second tool is called Phishing Protection, which helps protect your users from phishing sites using your brand. So you give us a brand kit. We will scour the world looking for people using that brand for phishing purposes. We'll notify you. You can submit your own URLs to us, and we'll tell you if we believe they're malicious. What's really cool here is that typically what you would do at that point in time is submit to the domain registrar to try to remove that site, which may take weeks or months, depending on the registrar. What we can do is submit those into safe browsing, and within 30 minutes or less be protecting over 3 billion users around the world from ever seeing or clicking on those links that are impersonating your brand for phishing reasons. And the last one is on the fraud side, reCAPTCHA Enterprise. So reCAPTCHA Enterprise helps protect your website from fraudulent activity, spam, and abuse. So it builds on all of the goodness of reCAPTCHA, which is protecting over 2 million websites globally, with additional features and functionality that we've built in to help enterprises. And that leads me to the promised demo. So what we're going to attempt to do, and I'm hoping that you will oblige me with some audience participation. So if you're looking at your phone, look up here, but keep your phone out actually. So what we're going to do is there's a URL behind me, g.co/reCAPTCHA/demo, and I'd like you to take out your phone and navigate to that. I'm going to introduce my friend Aaron here. He is the engineering manager for reCAPTCHA and reCAPTCHA Enterprise. And Aaron and the team have crafted a simple website, which you should be seeing if you're going to g.co/reCAPTCHA/demo. Don't worry, no humans were harmed in the making of this demo or will be harmed in the running of it. Nothing to worry about. So let's shift over to that page. this is what the page looks like. So what you should be seeing there is this simple page. I don't want you to enter your real username and password information for anything. This is a security session. But do just enter some gibberish. We're not recording any of it anyway, for anything you want for username and password, and then hit the login button. So while I give you a second to do that, what's happening behind the scenes is that we have implemented reCAPTCHA Enterprise against this site, and we are evaluating all of the transactions as you are entering your information and hitting login. This is the screen that you should get to if you are a legitimate user and not a robot. Okay, so what you won't see here, by the way, is a CAPTCHA. So we are operating invisibly behind the scenes, giving you all the benefit of more traditional reCAPTCHA solutions with none of the end user friction. So the team has also cooked up a quick chart which will show you just the outcome of the scores that we get. So the reCAPTCHA Enterprise score is much more granular. It's a 10-point system. And what we're doing is, here, let's switch over there. This chart will show us the people that have scored high, which is an indicator of a legitimate user, versus those that have scored a low, which is indicative of a bot or a malicious user. So it turns out, this is a huge relief to me personally, that none of you seem to be robots. So that's great. Our site is in great shape, or is it? Because unbeknownst to us, Aaron has gone rogue on us and has developed his own bot, which will attempt, for malicious purposes, to log into this website. So what the bot is doing behind the scenes is attempting to log in repeatedly, and as it does this, it's coded to any place where it gets stuck, take a screenshot, and then surface that screenshot for us here. So as a legitimate user, what you saw was the home page, and if somebody scores high in reCAPTCHA, what the site will do will just pass you through to the home page. If you score low, which is an indicator of a threat, then we'll actually put up a 2FA page, a two-factor authentication page for additional verification. So this protects the site. So what you're seeing here are, as it attempts to log in, over and over, it's getting the 2FA page because it's scoring low. And if we switch over to the graph again, we can now see there's about 250 of you, thank you, who responded to the page, real users, and we can now see about 17 bot login attempts. The reason codes are unique to reCAPTCHA Enterprise as well, and they are showing you that automation happened, and we've correctly identified these as bots. Okay, so imagine for a second that this is your website and not a basic website, protecting your new user creation, your logins, your transactions, your password verifications and resets, and you can imagine how this is a great tool in your toolkit for prevention of fraud. All right, with that, let's switch over. We've got to wrap up. There are some things we didn't really get to. Apigee API security reporting, some great new reports in Apigee around the security posture of your APIs. And then data loss prevention has a great new user interface on top of it, which lets you run DLP with no code whatsoever. And then lastly, the identity platform, formerly CICP. This is now GA. You can use Google identities and identity management embedded inside of any app, anywhere, any service. Doesn't need to be a GCP service, can be anywhere, and you get the full capacity and scale of Google identities. With that, I'll pass back to Mike for our last 30-second wrap-up.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the demo. We want to quickly announce that, like we did in 2017, in 2018, we doubled the number of security partners that we have. As you come to Google Cloud, the vendors you already rely on and are tooled against are available. Many of these partners are now also customers of Google Cloud, and we hope their validation of our security validates your trust in us. So I won't go through the summary. We had a lot of announcements. There's announcements in GCP. We have a huge session on container security services. We hope you pay attention there. We believe we're a leader in container security. Identity and access announcements, G Suite announcements. We had over 30 announcements this week. If you want to hear more, if you want to see more, if you want to see more demos, we have 8 more security sessions. Thank you for joining us today. Stay secure, trust but verify, and have a good rest of the conference. Thank you.